Hello, this is Wes Bridle, and this is another Kingdom Calling Economic Update video. I'm happy to say this is my last video I'm shooting today. It's the second video we're putting out today on gold and silver and just the updates of what's been going on in that market over the last month. All of these videos are short updates to the coming storm video, which gives you a big picture of what's going on in the economy over the next several years. So if you haven't seen that, please go and watch that for free. There's a link right near this video. And Indian scrap gold sales are ending. They're slowing down dramatically as people realize what they'll lose if they sell. They're just finding other things to sell because before they would buy and sell at different times depending on what's going on, but the people that have scrap gold in India are not selling anymore. Again, bullish for the gold market. Calls in Europe to use the PIGS country's gold as collateral. It's not gaining too much steam yet, but the Europeans are saying, well, you want us to lend to you, put your gold up so we know we're going to get something back for it. Greens, I don't think that'll go anywhere, but there's calls for it. Greenspan in August said gold is money and being used by markets to escape fiat money risk. So this is pretty interesting because it comes about a month after Bernanke directly told Ron Paul, no, gold is not money. Of course, Bernanke is basically a politician now. Greenspan had a similar thing. When Greenspan was young, he was really brilliant and wrote really eloquently about gold, the power and importance of gold. And then when he became Fed chairman, he threw all that out the window and acted like he didn't know a thing about it and was totally against gold and was obviously, in part, talked a little bit about manipulating, they don't use the word manipulation, but manipulating the price down. They look at it as a positive thing for the country to do this sort of thing. Economically, we know that there's always ramifications for these things. It's not positive in the end. But that's how they look at it. So manipulation sounds like a bad word, but they think they're doing something good when they're doing it. And anyway, so Greenspan was against it. Then when he was a politician, a Fed banker, all of a sudden he's all for it. And then he's against what they're doing now again, now that he's now a private citizen again. And now he talks about the importance of gold again. So he understands it. Bernanke understands it too. He just lies in public because he's a politician now. Let's see, calls in Europe to use, Wall Street Journal and New York Times commentators, both recently, interesting the similarity in timing, urging the government to coordinate efforts to limit people's ability to buy gold and hold down prices. Perhaps they're not aware that the government is already working hard with other Western governments and bullion banks to limit the price of gold, although it's pretty scary that they should come in and say people shouldn't have the right to buy it. That's pretty sinister and not what you want to see being written. But those two main institution papers came out and said that recently. WikiLeaks shows that China knows about Western government and bullion bank gold price suppression scheme. So if you heard about the WikiLeaks things that came out, certain things hit the news bigger. This one not as much because our media doesn't talk about it, but China is well aware of the price suppression schemes in the West for gold and silver prices. And they're working to get around those. I talked in the last video about the new Shanghai exchange that's opening up. It's not going to be based on fake paper contracts, but real gold and silver. And so that's going to be interesting to see how that develops. Goldman's head trade, and that, just to add to that, and I think this is probably in the last couple of weeks I read something about this. China has a fundamental understanding of what the West is doing, and they also understand the U.S. holds a tremendous amount of gold. Now, the largest in the world according to official numbers. Now, there's some reason to believe they might not have what they hold. Jim Rickards makes an interesting point on that account, as he said, yeah, the U.S. has probably lent out a lot of gold, but it's probably still in their vaults. So at the end of the day, if everything falls apart, they still own the gold because they still have it. And we actually hold a lot of other countries' gold in the United States. So China knows this, and China only holds about 1/8 the amount of gold as far as the last time they gave us updated records. But we know that they are taking in every bit of gold that they can get without driving the price to the moon. And that's because they see the end game in this currency war, and they're trying to beef up their gold so that they can have a number one legitimate currency in the world. So that's the game they're playing. They understand the game the U.S. is playing. They don't talk about it because they're smart. It doesn't do any good to just whine and complain about it. They're doing everything they can to win the game, and they're doing a pretty strong job. The last time they updated their gold numbers, it was over what they bought over the 5 previous years, and that was a year or two ago. I don't know when the next update, but they're surely buying massive amounts so that they can. The problem is they have so much money compared to the tiny gold market that exists out there. They can't buy as much as they want without sending the price to 5 digits. And lastly, Goldman's head trader shows understanding of an authority in the gold price. So even Goldman Sachs understands that the bullion banks, the governments, are in collusion to keep the prices suppressed. It's a fact. I didn't used to like to talk about it because it sounds conspiracy, tinfoil hat, whatever, but there's so much fact about it now. You have to be naive or just purposely not wanting to know about it to understand. But again, they look at it as doing the world a favor. They believe that they can, in their position of power, they can control things in such a way to make everything wonderful. Well, that's a communist idea. It doesn't really work in real life. It's been proven again and again historically, but that's the idea that they have when they do these things. So it's not that they're sitting in a corner thinking that they're harming everybody. They think they're helping everybody. Just in reality, they are harming people. So that's kind of the situation there. I didn't mean for this one to be so much about gold price suppression, but it looks like it was. And I am done with these videos until the next set. So thank you for watching it. I appreciate it. God bless you.